Next up, we have Stardust Speedway from the Sonic the Hedgehog CD soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here, musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever to me you use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, don't forget to join the Discord server, the gaming channel, how to request songs if you're not on the live stream, members getting early access to the content. I have a spiel for this and a bunch of other things at the end of this video, so stick around for that. Disclaimers showing on your screen right now, so go ahead and pause the video to read them in full. Otherwise, please be patient with me. I'm acoustic and guitarded, so please keep that in mind. With that, let's go ahead. You're so humble I can't. I know what failure is like. I've failed plenty in my life. So, yeah. Let's do this. Stardust Speedway. Let's go. Okay, that is not where I thought this was gonna go. Okay, so we start with a couple of things I've seen. The Sonic report they made for the 32. I haven't seen it. No, I don't. I haven't played anything in my life. So, we're having it. We start with many different elements. Number one, we have, of course, drum and bass doing their thing. They're keeping the beat very nice, bass line very nicely. Then we have a synth a little bit further in the back, giving us a very fast melody, which might be what contains our initial motif. Motif being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else comes from. And then we are having these vocal samples. They sound more like they are more in the percussion side, like they're being used as a complement to the drums instead of being for more melodic purposes. But we're having that as the start. Let's see where this goes. Oh, okay, so that's what happened. We started with a keyboard solo right away. So over here, we are seeing more. This is not so much of a piece so far. I mean, it might be after this. It's not so much that as it is more of a jam. Like, we are talking about improvisation through and through. We basically have the drums and the bass doing something, and then we have another instrument on top of this, pretty much just improvising on top. This is the kind of format that you would see very often in genres like jazz and funk. Very, very common in jazz, funk, fusion. Very, very common in these two types of things, where you might have an initial melody, or most likely it's going to be just the backing track, the accompaniment is going to be doing something, and then the rest of the ensemble has to figure out what to do on the spot. Let's see where this goes, because let me go back a couple of seconds, because I think we had something here. Drum fill. Ooh. Okay, so yeah, this is more on the funk side. Funk like F-U-N-K, right? Like, we're more on the funk side over here. We had a brief drum fill over here. A drum fill is the drummers of nowadays version of a cadence. When you're making music, you're doing one of two things. You are building tension, or you are resolving that tension. That point in between, we usually call the cadence. Now, cadence is usually something done in your chords, in your harmony. You're gonna build from a root chord to a dominant chord, which creates the expectation that you're gonna go back to the root chord. That is cadence usually. And this, as I said, it's something that you can do in your harmony, you can do in your melody, right? You can really build cadence that way. However, when it comes to drums, you're doing a drum beat, and unless you have like a xylophone or a marimba on top of that, you are going to need to just figure another way, because the drum beat is supposed to be a very steady thing. You're the one keeping the beat. So how the drummers create cadence? They do what is called a drum fill. A drum fill is that you're going to fill up, is usually 1 measure or so of time, 1 to 2 measures, and the drum is going to do something completely different to bring more motion, to bring a little bit more inertia, a bit of momentum, in order to use the rest of the drum kit and push the track further. In this case, we had a little variation of the rhythm, and then we started with what is called the horn section. Horn section is something very commonly observed in jazz and funk bands, which is going to... And by the way, the reason why the sound underneath doesn't sound as funky and it sounds more like hip-hop is because hip-hop, a lot of people, a lot of rappers started in the funk genre. And a lot of the early, many of the early hip-hop people were just using the improvisational nature of funk, and they would start rapping on top of that. It was very, very common back in the 70s when funk was the cool experimental genre, and then from there we had started doing we started getting the more defined genre of hip-hop and rap that we have nowadays. Now, a horn section, very common in funk. It usually is going to have 2 trumpets, a trombone, and 1 saxophone. So yeah, no, the horn section is because these are brass. Funnily enough, the horn section doesn't have any French horns. But yeah, usually you're gonna see a combination of 2 trumpets, trombone, or saxophone. It might vary depending on the ensemble. Sometimes they will have 2 trombones, sometimes they will have 2 saxophones, but most of the time your horn section is gonna be 2 trumpets, a trombone, and a saxophone. And of course, now we're having these guys giving a melody with the actual I think the motif was actually the initial one being given over here, but now we are having it being completely at the forefront, very, very clear this time around, instead of being hidden between those like vocal samples. Let's see where this goes. There's the keyboard in the back doing some improvisation. There's the horn section, variation of the melody. And we bring some disc scratching in between. Basically, right now, we are having one of the more like late 70s funk ensemble. Because, yes, they would also have like these DJing, record scratching kind of thing. So record scratching... this is something that started off with vinyl, right? Vinyl, or is it vinyl? I always forget which one, if it's vinyl... record. Okay, so it's IY. So, vinyl record or a vinyl player. Vinyls are the early form of discs of playing. Yeah, vinyl. Yeah, IY. Thank you. So as you can see, this is a more contemporary version of the thing, but it still works the same way. You have your vinyl disc, which would have physically imprints of the audio that was recorded into it. Your vinyl player is therefore going to have this little bit over here, which contains a very, very delicate, usually glass needle, that then just reads whatever the vinyl has. And the disc scratching comes when you either stop the disc or you go back and forth. Of course, if you do it wrong, it is very, very expensive to be able to do this, which is why DJ disc players, CD DJ boxes contain more specialized variations of these things, so that the DJ can be a little bit more aggressive without breaking the equipment. This is more or less what some of these will look like, and the way that DJs are, because DJs before the start of electronic music, a DJ was a disc jockey. It was somebody who would have CD music that would play. So you would have the individual CDs. The CDs would be albums of whatever bands, and the job of the DJ is, I mean, we still have this type of DJ, is to bring music to whatever event there is, and is going to have a selection of songs from which you're going to have this. However, it is boring to just wait for one song to play, not digital jockey, disc jockey, because of the discs. And it's boring to just wait for one song to end and have the other one begin, which is why the DJs would just have a continuous flow of music going. So, yeah, that's where it basically comes from. The disc scratching is where we're getting it, and we're using it kind of as drum fills. As one of the four mixes for Stardust Speedways, their own differences, but one element that ties them together. But further can get the other mixes. All right, so yeah, let's see where this goes. Guitar improvisation, piano improvisation. Another fill, and in this case was a little bit of rhythmic displacement, right? Rhythmic displacement, as the name suggests, when you display something in the rhythm, whether it's to push something back so that it sounds later, or you rush something forward so that it sounds earlier. And in this case, how are we using it? We are using this for, tension, resolution, cadence. We are using that to push the moment of resolution back down, and that creates extra phantom cadence, phantom tension, that then makes your resolution that much more pronounced. Now we are bringing another version of the motif. Let me go ahead and see. Really cool. And we're having now two sections. We're having the horn section doing one thing, and then we're having this banjo-like sounding synth playing a similar melody and engaging in a little bit of what is called canonic imitation. This brassy melody is shared across all versions of Stardust Speedway. Nice. So, canonic imitation is a type of call and response based on the concept of a canon. So let's unpack this, right? Call and response is a musical conversation. You have one section that does something, the call, and then you have another section. It can be, by section I mean you have one part of the music that does something, and then another one will do something else in response, and it makes it feel like it is a call and response, kind of like a musical conversation. Then we have the concept of the canon. Canon with one N, by the way. Canon is a type of piece that builds upon itself upon repetition. There's many different types of canon. The most easy type to do is called canon at the unison. The most famous, of course, row, row, row your boat, right? So, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is what a dream. That is a canon. Because if you take, for example, 4 people, and all of them are going to be singing the whole thing, the whole canon, over and over and over again. However, first person starts. When the first person starts gently down the stream, the second person starts from the top. When the second person starts from the top, the third person starts from... when the second person reaches gently down the stream, the third person starts from the top. When the third person starts gently down the stream, the fourth person starts from the top. And then you have a 4-part canon at the unison happening. And the concept of canonic imitation is when your call and your response are the same melodic idea. The same exact melodic idea, with the big difference just being it's done by 2 different parts. And that's what we're seeing over here. Let's see where this goes. So good. Sammy, welcome to the head of. And yes, there's extremely classical piece, Canon in D by Pechabel. Yes, Canon in D, Ode to Joe, contains canonic elements to it. A lot of things contain canonic elements and canonic imitation to it, especially during the Baroque period. Canon in D is an example of music that shouldn't work, but does anyway. So... yeah, we're having this. Let me go back a couple of seconds because this is really good. I think we got some piano as well. Yep, we're bringing the piano solos. The piano doing a slight variation on the motif, but these don't feel so much as the piece presenting melodies as they do the different members of the ensemble doing mini solos. And on top of that, we are having a call and response between the piano and the horn section, and it's just nice. Let's see where this goes. There's the scratching coming back. We're going back to this version. I really love the banjo here. I know that it's a synth, but it just fits so well. So yeah, it's fairly uncommon to see a banjo for this kind of stuff, but that's the beauty about fusion. Because the genre of this would be fusion. We have jazz and funk fusion, and it's just... you can go almost anywhere with this. This kind of music is one of the leaders that result in progressive music. Which, yeah, prog music is just a lot of fun. Let's see where this goes. Or it can be. Really cool. Yep, continuing another repetition. Oh, and the piano is doing a reduction. The piano here is doing a reduction. So reduction is a way that you can develop your material in which you play a sped up version of something you did before. So in this case, we had this arpeggiated, like the melody is this kind of arpeggiated thing. So arpeggio is when you play a chord one note at a time, right? So in the case of this one, it was kind of like going... what? That kind of melody that we were having, and then the piano is just gonna play a reduced version. We're just gonna have that kind of thing instead of having this more syncopated staccato kind of thing, right? Staccato, by the way, staccato being an articulation being little variations that you can do for the notes that you play to give them different things. In the case of staccato, you're not playing the note in, you're trying to play the note in a short burst, right? So this kind of thing, very, very nice and short, which is what we're getting from melody. That kind of thing, very nice and funky, and what the piano version is doing is giving us a more reduced version, a more straightforward rhythm. That kind of thing that we get with this is really cool. Punch, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Mosh Pit. Welcome today. How you doing? Let's see where this goes. Oh, the horns are there in the back as well. Let's see, what else? And we bring an actual vocal sample. Look at that. These kinds of vocal samples, like you can see how this kind of music ended up influencing so much in hip hop and electronic music, just bringing in these different little elements. Let's see where this goes. This is really good. Rhythmic displacement. We have the bass, very nice. There we go. The rap there, similar to what we had at the start. Okay, it's fading out because it loops. In this case, it makes sense. It's an older game, and one of the things older games have, I despise fade-outs. Fade-outs are one of my least favorite things when it comes to music, outside of, you know, atonal music. But in this case, would you say this influence hip-hop is influenced by hip-hop? I would say it's mutual. Because funk, as I said, funk, when it was at its height, a lot of rappers started with funk. Because it was just a fun thing to do. Because the idea of funk had a lot, you would have a groove happening, which was just, you would have a fun accompaniment, and you would improvise on top of that. And then somebody got the brilliant idea to just rap on top of it. And they saw that it worked really well. And when exactly was hip-hop born? I don't know. Some point in the 70s, 80s, or between the late 70s and 90s, I would say. And then when the more gangsta people saw that, the hip hop, the rapping thing with funk is fun, but we can make more badass beats for this kind of thing. And it just started slowly becoming its own thing. Rap started mostly in funk, because it was just another way of experimenting with music. Because funk, jazz, these two genres, jazz mainly throughout between the 30s and 40s, 50s. Then funk started hopping out of that, and it's mainly improvisation, experimentation. But yeah, when it comes to older games, the reason why you will see the videos on YouTube fade out is not because the tracks themselves have fade outs, but because there's a limited amount of space in a physical medium such as a CD. And what they would do is that the game itself wouldn't have any audio files. What it would have would be what is called a MIDI. Do we call it a map? I think we call it a map. A MIDI file, MIDI instructions, so to speak, right? A MIDI is going to be the virtual commands. It's kind of like binary, but for music. MIDI is, it contains 128 values, which go from 0 to 127. And you can then give different commands. And this is something that, for example, I'm using right now for this piano over here. When I press down the key, this key over here, it's not that I'm pressing the key on this piano. What is happening is that I have MIDI. The MIDI here will then take the command of, middle C is played at whatever strength it is, and the 128 values are going to be the strength at which the note is played, and the stronger it is, the higher it is in value, the lower it is, the lower it is in value. And that's basically that. It translates that instruction, and it tells the player over here to play that specific sample. And that's how MIDI works. So what they would have back in the day is that they would have a MIDI instruction file, because MIDI instruction files are kilobytes for entire pieces, and they would just have built in the engine that would have all the samples. And then you would just have the MIDI player be like, okay, at this point, start playing this piece, and it would generate the music live as you played the game. And that would save up on a lot of space, because there wasn't that much space in these games to have that. This is something that has been true since the very early days of the NES, when they figured out how to do that with 8-bit music. I think this Sonic the Hedgehog, I think this was 16-bit, which was still fairly limited. And that kind of stuff. And of course, in the game, it would be just, okay, play this on repeat until something replaces this instruction. So in the game, it just loops infinitely, which is not going to play infinitely on YouTube. And that's where you get it. And there, even in game, the music faded out. They were really grasping for memory space. So then they might have actually gone for audio files if it faded out. But yeah, no. Generally, you would want this. So maybe they did it wrong then. I don't know. But there you have it. That was Stardust Speedway. So maybe that's not how it worked over here, but it is how it does. Mini player, like a dwarf in a band? No, like MIDI. It is a mini player if you put it in a console. So not so much a dwarf, more like a fairy. Yeah. Anyway, there you have it. That was Stardust Speedway from the Sonic the Hedgehog CD soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here musically. So, if you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, don't forget to join the Discord server. That's where everything gets announced first, whether it is the streams going live, videos going up on the channels, updates, projects, announcements, everything gets put there first. Of course, that's where we also have the community, where we hang out, we chat, we steal memes from other people's servers, claim them as our own, and of course, where I host the Vintage Story game server. It used to be a Minecraft mod, now it's its own standalone game. I prefer it personally, so which is why I built a server for it. So yeah, Link in the description, join the Discord, and maybe the Vintage Story server as well. Also share these videos with your friends, with your families, with your family's friends, with your friends' families. Those are two very distinct concepts, by the way. With your online and offline communities, go share these videos with everybody that should know. Also use the hype function on YouTube. We have a group on the Discord that coordinates for that. Linked in the description for the Discord and other reasons to join. Help out the channel. Look at that. Yes, artists, musicians, or otherwise on YouTube or elsewhere. This is an open invitation. If you want any of my musical skills for any of your projects, whether it is my guitars, Mongolian throat singing, the good old hoo, oh, oh, kind of thing, regular singing, voice acting, if you want help figuring out something for your composition, whatever it is, reach out, let me know, let's work together, let's make stuff. And if you're in the audience and you know somebody that could benefit, reach out, let them know. Please do not harass anyone, please do not spam anyone, be cool about things, don't be a rat. Members get early access to the content. I schedule the videos for the week on Saturdays, and if you're a paid member on YouTube, regardless of your tier, you get access to the videos when I schedule them, at least for the LFAs. That's around up to what week in advance, so become a member today. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3.5 seconds, I'll be linking it in the description down below. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, check the pinned comment of this video. It has the instructions on what to do. If you are on the live stream, you can go ahead and request your songs. And if you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim from Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. We stream live on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick so that you can tune in from whichever platform you prefer. Again, 6 p.m. Central Europe. If you're not in Europe, do not worry. We have the full up-to-date streaming schedule showing in your local time zone in both Discord and Twitch. So if you live in La Laja and you're like, yeah, well, what time is 6 p.m. in Hungary? I don't live there. Do not worry. Just go to Discord or Twitch and it's going to show in your local time zone. And follow the gaming channel. I have a gaming channel because, of course, I have a gaming channel. I'm on YouTube. What else could I possibly have? Games are Basterd. That's where I put the gaming after show recordings when they happen. Recorded live during the main channels after show the recordings. Go here, linked in the description, or just search on YouTube. Same username as James R. Basterd. Just swap the J for a G and you got it. And yeah, there you have it. Stardust Speedway Sonic CD. That was good, dude. That was good stuff. Because it's Sonic, dude. It's always got good stuff. Really good stuff. But yeah, let's move on.